And it also brings me to, that overall kind of topic that, we're here today to discuss, which is mental health. And I would love if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about why did you decided to, start talking more about mental health? Why did you decide to set up for Men to Talk? Why is talking about mental health and bringing men together to talk about mental health so important to you?
It's really important. I lost, so in the year 2025 now, so I lost my mum 20 years ago this May, which again goes so quick. Sometimes it feels like a lifetime ago, but sometimes it feels like yesterday. So I lost my mum 20 years ago, and I lost my sister 10 years ago, both to cancer. So my sister was breast cancer, my mum was ovarian cancer. And obviously, with that, of course, massive lot of grief, a slight depression from it, definitely anxiety. But I've always been able to talk about my mental health illness to anybody, family and friends, but even on the stranger of the street. But I know, especially, it's hard for a lot of people, and they're definitely men. When I first thought about doing something, I looked at the statistics of men suicide in the country, and it's just horrific. And if anything, in that 5.5 years that I've been working with doing for Men to Talk, the statistics are still rising, but there's more help for men than ever before. So something, we need to continue doing this. We need to still grow. We need to still get more men to talk about what they're struggling with, because more men are passing away from taking their own lives since 1999. It's just horrific. Um, but for me, I just wanted a safe environment for men to talk. And we don't have any rules or any restrictions as well. So, I won't go around a room and go, please tell me what's wrong. Just tell me, tell me, tell me. I won't at all. I just want to give that chance for men to feel like they're not alone in their mental health journey, because I know that men do feel like that. Men do feel like they're on their own. The old stigma of stiff upper lip and get on with it mentality. We want to change that. And so I will ask, say, Derek in a room. That's a made up name, by the way. Derek in a room. What is wrong with you? And if Derek goes to me, Luke, I'm just not ready to open up yet. It's absolutely fine. We've got gentlemen in our meetings, or one of them I've known for 2 years, and he's still not opened up exactly what he's going through and what he's been through. But because he continues coming, he feels that he's not on his own, and he knows where to turn to when he is ready, and that's what our group's all about.
I love that you're mentioning the fact that, the group or the support that you're really aiming to provide is not really like a therapy. It's not a space where people have to share, that it's not something that, is designed to solve people's problems, air quotes in there. That is just a safe space for people if they want to. Of course, they can open up and they can share, but it's the sense of belonging and almost normalizing not being okay. I think because, as you said, a huge part of it is a stigma of, as a man, you need to be strong, you need to be, really capable, you need to be not sensitive, not crying, not emotional. Anger is allowed, but to a point, because obviously anger is bad. So we do tend to label lots of things. We do tend to assign, this is good and this is bad in a society. So creating and nourishing a space where you can just be and you can be vulnerable and you can be whoever. And, if it helps to open up, it's great. But even simple thing is a sense of belonging to a group like that. So tell me a little bit about then what types of meeting you're having. Is it you go to pub, do you to bar, do you go out? How do some of your gatherings actually look like or work like?
So we started our first group meeting in a local cafe in Biggleswade in Bedfordshire in February 2020. And what I'm trying to do is get a really more of a relaxed environment. So, and there's nothing wrong with community halls with plastic chairs and tables, but I wanted a man to be as comfortable as they can. So that may, by being in a plastic chair, it may feel a bit uncomfortable still and a bit more robust and robotic. So the Jason's Cafe in Biggleswade is an amazing place, and we've literally just gone back there now after leaving for a couple of years. And that's what we try and do. So we got physical meetings, and we go around. We've got groups everywhere really now for like local cafes, and we used to go into randomly a Weatherspoons in Biggleswade, but because it had a lovely side room away from the public. And again, it was that relaxed environment for a man to feel really familiar in their surroundings. So a lot of men would go there for a drink as well, in their own spare time with family and friends. But because they feel familiarised, they go, actually, I can talk about it here. But what we did during COVID times as well is that we moved it online virtually, like we're doing right now. We still have our meetings every single Wednesday and have done since early March of 2020. So we've been going 5 years every single Wednesday. We've not missed one. Um, we've also do walking meetings, so we get guys that will go out into nature as well. So we'll talk two by two while we're walking as well. So that gets a lot of fresh air. But one thing we've launched over the last 18 months or so, we've actually launched a fishing group as well. So we get 8 guys around a lake two by two, and we get they fish as well as talk. And there's something really therapeutic about fishing. I used to go as a kid when I was 12 or 13, and I stopped really from going ever since. And I've fallen back in love with fishing. I've really, really enjoyed it. There's something about just sitting really in that tranquil environment, fishing and talking at the same time, getting to know each other. And it's been a game changer, to be honest. And it's something I really want to grow moving forward, especially with fishing. But one thing we did do for the last 12 months as well is because of my history of now, the last 2 or 3 years, I used to work in the community mental health team until about 6 weeks ago. I was seeing definitely men being diagnosed with autism later on in life, in their 40s, 50s, even their 60s. So with that comes challenges in those lives. So what we decided to do is launch for Men to Talk about autism on a virtual meeting where guys will be in a virtual room like we're doing again right now, and they will talk about their challenges, and they'll get support because especially with autism, again, a lot of autistic men do feel like they're right now, and they're really like sometimes the world's a scary place for them with their autistic diagnosis they've got and the traits they've got. So getting them in an environment to talk about that is amazing. But again, another thing, and you mentioned it, Lenka, there as well. What was amazing is that guys now go out on their own. So they've formed friendships in these groups. So they've found a sort of I don't know, they found support from one another, and I feel like they're ready now to go out and enjoy themselves. So like literally, two guys from the group are going to a comedy night this evening, which I think is amazing. One of the first groups we ever did in February 2020, two guys met there, quite elderly gentlemen, and they got talking to each other, realized they had something in common where they both lost their partners. And I heard back a month later when they came back to the next meetings that they've been going out for coffees and they've been taking grandkids out to the park together and meeting each other. And that's what our group's all about. Again, they've come because they felt isolated and lonely and the trauma they went through. And now they've found that common goal and they've got a friendship now. So they're not going to be on their own. Even in between the meetings, they've got a friendship where they'll go out and have a chat in coffee. It's just been an absolutely amazing 5.5 years. It really has.